Welcome back to the final part of the story, the widow and her 3 daughters, 1 eye, 2 eyes, and 3 eyes. And so one sticky afternoon, the entire neighborhood lost power. Shola and Tumi ambled outside, complaining about the outage. Zahara, unable to watch them suffer despite everything, brought out a tray with homemade lemonade, simple ingredients she had scraped together. She handed it to Shola and Tumi. As they sipped hesitantly, a sense of camaraderie emerged under the hazy sun, and the sisters began to speak in hushed tones about their childhood memories, and when Papa was alive. Their conversation did not fix everything, but it eased the tension for a moment. But Mama Kessie was not relaxing. Unknown to her daughters, she had begun concocting a new plan. She believed that if the tree recognized Zahara's touch, perhaps Mama Kessie needed to find a way to trick or coerce Zahara into handing over complete control. Late one night, Mama Kessie placed a quiet phone call to a shadowy figure in the city, Uncle Bill, a distant relative with a reputation for cunning deals and under-the-table transactions. Mama Kessie hoped Uncle Bill might secure some sort of ritual or specialized device to harness the tree's power. She was determined to force Zahara into compliance. Mama Kessie picks up the phone and calls Uncle Bill. "Bill, I need your help. This tree could make us wealthy beyond imagination, but my foolish daughter holds the key. If you can come up with something to bind the tree's power to me, you'll have your share of the fortune." What Mama Kessie did not realize was that Uncle Bill was known for unscrupulous business. His involvement might bring far greater danger than she anticipated. A few days later, Zahara sat under the tree at dusk, gazing at the city lights flickering to life. She felt an odd prickling sensation at the back of her neck. Turning, she saw Auntie Dimbo stepping out from behind the trunk, silent as a ghost. Mama Kessie's heart is tainted by greed. Auntie Dimbo revolves to Zahara. She has summoned a man with dark intentions. "Beware, child. They may seek to harm you or bind the tree's magic to themselves." Zahara's eyes widened, panic coursing through her veins. "I don't know what to do, Auntie. I can't leave the tree, people need it. But I can't confront Mama and Uncle Bill alone." Auntie Dimbo gently placed a comforting hand on Zahara's shoulder, though it felt more like a breeze than a solid touch. "Remember the people you have helped, Aisha, Kofi, Kwame. Even Shola and Tumi have begun to soften. True allies will stand by you if you call upon them." But before Zahara could reply, Auntie Dimbo faded away, leaving only the rustling leaves under a swelling breeze. Zahara wrapped her arms around herself, fear mingled with resolve. This, she realized, was bigger than just an enchanted tree. It was about family, greed, and the soul of a city that needed hope. The next morning, Zahara knew she had to share Auntie Dimbo's warning with someone she trusted. She confided in Kwame, the aspiring journalist. Over a cup of steaming cocoa at a roadside stall, Zahara told him about Mama Kessie's probable dealings with a dangerous relative. "That's serious. People say Uncle Bill has connections with criminal elements. If your mother is involving him, you could be in real danger." Kwame leaned in, lowering his voice. "Listen, my uncle is a police officer in a special crimes unit. He might help discreetly, if we gather enough proof that someone is planning to harm you or exploit the tree illegally," Kwame added. Zahara hesitated, uncertain whether bringing the police into this was wise. She feared retribution from Mama Kessie. Yet she also knew Auntie Dimbo's warning was not to be taken lightly. Meanwhile, at home, Shola found herself pacing the living room, struggling with guilty thoughts. Memories from childhood flickered through her mind, like the time Zahara, just 5 years old, had held Shola's hand through a thunderstorm. Or the day Papa died, and Zahara offered Shola her only rag doll to comfort her. Shola realized that no matter how Mama Kessie had painted Zahara as ordinary or undeserving, Zahara had always been the sister who quietly cared. The single-eyed daughter felt a stirring in her chest, a desire to mend the rift. Perhaps she had allowed Mama Kessie to twist her heart for too long. 2 nights later, Mama Kessie welcomed Uncle Bale into the house. He was a tall, wiry man, dressed in a dark suit that hung loosely on his frame. His eyes gleamed with cunning, and his smile never reached them. "Sister Kessie, it's been too long. I hear you've got quite the gold mine on your hands, eh?" Mama Kessie glanced nervously around, making sure her daughters were out of earshot. Zahara, however, listened from behind the door, her heart pounding. "That tree is the key to a fortune," Mama Kessie explains. "But the worthless child Zahara is the only one who can actually pick the fruit. You have to figure out how to force her to hand over total control." Uncle Bill chuckled, a cold, mirthless sound. "I might know of certain men who can persuade her. Or we could try a ritual. Some say a strong enough enchantment can tie the tree spirit to a more deserving host." Zahara's stomach lurched. She had no idea how far Mama Kessie was willing to go. She quietly backed away, deciding it was time to seek help. Zahara wasted no time. She dashed off to find Kwame. Together, they reached out to Kwame's uncle in the Special Crimes Unit. The uncle, Officer Mensah, was a stout man with kind eyes and a firm handshake. After hearing Zahara's trembling account of Uncle Bale's intentions, he grew visibly concerned. "This is indeed serious. If your mother and her associate plan to kidnap or harm you, we can intervene. But we need evidence, proof of their intentions. We also need your cooperation," said Officer Mensah. Zahara nodded, though fear brewed in her chest. She did not want Mama Kessie thrown in jail, a part of her still yearned for maternal love. But she had to protect herself, and the tree, from exploitation. Officer Mensah organized the plan. He would position a discreet patrol car nearby, watching the house. If Uncle Bale made any threatening move, they would move in. Zahara agreed, though her heart felt heavy as if she were betraying her family. Days passed, and Mama Kessie behaved unusually polite in front of Zahara, no outbursts, no harsh words. She even let Zahara eat at the table. Shola and Tumi watched with confusion, unsure why Mama Kessie had softened so abruptly. Zahara remained cautious. She suspected her mother was simply biding time until Uncle Bale's plan was ready. The city, meanwhile, continued to revolve around the magical tree. Foreign tourists arrived, local artisans sold miniature sculptures replicating its shape, and a few unscrupulous merchants peddled fake silver fruit to gullible buyers. Zahara found herself trapped between the spectacle outside and the hidden machinations at home. One late afternoon, Tumi approached Zahara by the front gate. The youngest sister's 3 eyes were uncharacteristically downcast. "Zahara, I want to say something. I overheard Mama on the phone with that man, Uncle Bale. They were talking about controlling you." Zahara's eyes widened. She had never expected Tumi, who often ridiculed her, to come forward. Tumi, swallowing hard, continues, "Mama's plan sounds dangerous. I'm afraid. I don't want you to get hurt, and I don't want to be part of something so evil. The admission stunned Zahara. She took Tumi's hand, tears brimming in her own eyes. Thank you for telling me. Maybe there's a way we can stop it before it goes too far. Tumi nodded, relief and fear warring on her face. Now, a tense calm settled over the house. Shola, Tumi, and Zahara found themselves unexpectedly allied. Yet Mama Kessie continued her everyday routines as though nothing was amiss, cooking large meals, humming traditional tunes, occasionally smiling in a way that never reached her eyes. Uncle Bale's arrival loomed. The police were on standby, but Zahara feared the damage might be done before they could intervene. Every evening, Zahara sneaked out to the silver tree, ensuring it still thrived despite the swirling negativity. Each time, the leaves seemed to shimmer in sympathy, as if the tree itself sensed her dread. One night, Zahara pressed her palm against the trunk of the enchanted tree. She felt a subtle vibration, as though a pulse ran beneath the bark. A faint voice, or maybe just a deep intuition, seemed to emanate from within. Do not let greed sever our bond. Remain steadfast. Others will rise to defend you. The tree's essence echoed softly. Shaken but comforted, Zahara realized that this magic went beyond Auntie Dimbo's help. The tree was not merely an object, it was a presence, perhaps a living testament to hope and resilience. As she stepped away from the trunk, Kwame emerged from behind a cluster of curious visitors. He gave Zahara a small wave, indicating that he'd discovered more information about Uncle Bale. Zahara's pulse quickened. She braced herself for whatever news he bore. Kwame led Zahara to a quieter spot, away from eavesdroppers. Under the flickering light of a street lamp, he opened his notebook. My contact told me that Uncle Bale has a history of running ritual scams. He once tried to control a farmland believed to be cursed. Things got violent. People ended up hurt. Zahara shuddered, recalling Auntie Dimbo's warning. She couldn't imagine Mama Kessie knowingly risking such violence, yet the old woman's greed appeared boundless. With that, Zahara whispers, I have to protect the tree, and my sisters. But how? Kwame placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Officer Mensah is prepared. If Uncle Bill tries anything illegal, we'll have enough evidence to put him away. But you must keep your guard up at home, okay? Zahara nodded, feeling a glimmer of hope. She recalled Tumi's recent remorse, Shola's quiet apology, and realized that not all was lost. The family might still find a path to unity, or at least safety. And so we arrive at a pivotal moment in our tale. The city's neon glow flickers across the skyline. Vendors pack up their stalls, weary from another day's hustle. Mama Kessie sits in the living room, fiddling anxiously with her phone as she awaits Uncle Bale's arrival. Shola and Tumi exchange worried glances. Zahara remains in her small bedroom, heart pounding, the tension in the air thick enough to taste. Outside, the silver leaf tree stands tall, moonlight dancing across its branches. Taxi drivers pass by, their headlights sweeping over the trunk, capturing fleeting glimpses of the surreal glow. A hush blankets the city, as though all of Okuta is holding its breath. When Uncle Bale finally arrived at Mama Kessie's house on a steamy evening, the city lights were flickering across Okuta's skyline. Neighbors had turned in for the night, unaware of the undercurrent of danger crackling behind those peeling yellow walls. Uncle Bale stepped inside, wearing a smug grin. Mama Kessie ushered him into the small living room, where Shola and Tumi hovered by the corners, both looking uneasy. Zahara quietly crept into the adjoining hallway, her heart pounding. Officer Mensah and his discreet patrol team were stationed nearby, ready to intervene. "So, where is our little key to fortune?" asked Uncle Bill. Mama Kessie answered she's in her room. "We should do this quickly." Zahara, overhearing, felt a swirl of fear. She steeled herself. This was the moment to act. If she waited any longer, Uncle Bill might force her into some twisted ritual. She clutched her phone, containing Officer Mensah's direct number. Suddenly, Shola surprised everyone by standing in Uncle Bill's path. "Stop. We don't want this anymore. This is wrong." Shola's voice trembled. The single-eyed sister's face was pale. Tumi stepped forward, her 3 eyes brimming with worry. "Tumi, quieter but firm. Zahara is our sister, not a tool." Mama Kessie's fury flared. She shot them both a venomous look, but before she could speak, Zahara emerged from the hallway. Her eyes shone with a mix of terror and resolve. "Mama, please, we can still walk away from this." For a moment, Mama Kessie's face flickered with something akin to remorse. But Uncle Bill's impatience broke the spell. Uncle Bill sneers, "Enough. If the child won't cooperate willingly, we'll make her do it." He advanced on Zahara, hand outstretched to grab her arm. At that precise instant, headlights washed across the windows, and Officer Mensah's voice boomed from outside. "Police! Remain where you are and step away from Zahara." Uncle Bill spun around, eyes wide, cursing under his breath. Mama Kessie stumbled back, her face torn between panic and confusion. The front door burst open, and 2 officers rushed in, training their flashlights on Uncle Bill. Officer Mensah speaks out, "We have reason to believe you plan to use coercion and intimidation. Place your hands where we can see them." Uncle Bill snarled, attempting to bolt toward the back exit. But the officers were faster, blocking his path. In seconds, they had him handcuffed and subdued. Mama Kessie stood trembling, watching the plan she had set in motion unravel. As Uncle Bill was led away to a waiting patrol car, Mama Kessie slumped into a tattered armchair. Shola and Tumi hovered near the doorway, frightened and relieved in equal measure. Zahara stepped forward, tears welling in her eyes. Mama Kessie, her voice cracking. "Zahara, you called the police on your own mother." Zahara answered softly, "I had no choice. Uncle Bill wanted to hurt me, or force me into something horrible. I was so scared of what he'd do, and of what you would let him do." The old woman's gaze dropped to the floor. In the flickering light of the single overhead bulb, lines of exhaustion and regret etched deeper into Mama Kessie's face. "I never wanted this. I just wanted a better life. I was tired of struggling. Tired of being poor," Mama Kessie whispers. "But you hurt your family in the process." Sometimes, chasing something extraordinary makes us forget the simple blessings we already have," said Zahara firmly. Mama Kessie buried her face in her hands. Her shoulders trembled as she wept, perhaps for the first time since Papa's death. Shola and Tumi approached slowly, placing tentative hands on their mother's arms. Shola apologized softly. "We should have stood up to all this sooner. We knew it was wrong." Tumi swallowing hard, maybe now we can fix things together." Officer Mensah, standing at the doorway, cleared his throat politely. "This doesn't have to end in charges, Mama Kessie. But you must promise to stay clear of Uncle Bill's schemes and not coerce Zahara regarding that tree. We have enough evidence to prosecute if you refuse." Tears still glistening on her cheeks, Mama Kessie nodded, her expression defeated but also tempered by a newfound humility. In the wake of Uncle Bill's arrest, the story of the magical silver tree exploded across social media and local news. Many praised Zahara's courage in resisting exploitation. Some recognized Mama Kessie's desperate motives, while others condemned her for nearly jeopardizing her daughter's safety. Yet for Zahara, the most important transformation happened at home. Little by little, Mama Kessie softened. She no longer berated Zahara for her 2 eyes or forced her into endless chores. Shola and Tumi, once cold and arrogant, began sharing duties around the house. They bickered less and listened more. One morning, Zahara led the family to the silver tree at dawn, when the city was just stirring. The leaves shimmered under the first rays of sunlight, and the golden silver fruits exuded a gentle glow. Zahara approached the trunk, gently pressing her palm against the bark. She turned to her family. "If this tree came to show us anything, it's that compassion is stronger than greed. Mama, Shola, Tumi, we can still make amends." Mama Kessie, eyes brimmed with tears, stepped forward. This time, the branches did not recoil when she reached out. Though she could not pluck a fruit herself, one of the lower boughs bent closer, almost as if acknowledging her change of heart. "I'm sorry, Zahara, for all the pain I caused you. And thank you for giving me another chance." Mama Kessie pleaded, her voice trembling. Zahara offered a faint smile, tear tracks shining on her cheeks. A hush fell over them, and for one poignant moment, the city's bustle seemed far away. The weeks and months that followed brought more visitors to the magical tree, now a symbol of hope rather than conflict. Zahara continued to share its fruit with the needy, mindful of Auntie Dimbo's warning to avoid greed. Instead of selling them for profit, she offered them to those who displayed honesty, kindness, or genuine need. Shola found modest work in a local fashion store, using her one eye for design to help customers. Tumi enrolled in a community college class, determined to move beyond narrow-mindedness. Mama Kessie revamped her vegetable store, putting genuine effort into it instead of dreaming of easy wealth. Through hardships and near betrayal, each member of the family learned that greed can blind people to what truly matters, like love, unity, and empathy. A humble, generous heart often wins respect and fortune in ways that quick schemes never can. Forgiveness and understanding can heal old wounds, uniting families and communities alike. In the end, the silver-fruited tree stood as an ever-present reminder that true magic happens when people nurture compassion in themselves and in each other. That, dear champions, is the final miracle in this story. Thank you so much for joining us on this long and winding journey through the modern streets of Ukuta City. We've witnessed the trials of Zahara, the greed that consumed Mama Kessie, and the gentle power of an enchanted tree that brought a family back together. If you found yourself moved by this tale, or if it sparked a fresh insight into the triumph of kindness over selfishness, please remember to like this video, share the story with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming and inspiring African folktales. Your support helps us continue to bring you stories that uplift, captivate, and remind us all of our shared humanity. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Who was your favorite character? What did you learn from the story? Until next time, stay kind, stay hopeful, and keep the spirit of generosity alive in your hearts. Thank you for watching this final part of our story.